So you're dreaming of moving to Canada, right? The incredible scenery, the bustling cities, all the opportunities. It's an amazing goal to have. But let's be real, the whole immigration thing can seem super complicated, kind of like a giant puzzle. Well, don't worry. Today, we're going to give you the map to solve it. So, what are the key steps? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? You might see lists with 7, 10, even 12 steps, and it can get confusing fast. But honestly, the whole journey really boils down to 4 main stages. And that's exactly what we're going to walk through in this explainer. We're going to lay out the entire roadmap for you from A to Z. Okay, so first things first. Before you do anything else, you've got to figure out which path is actually for you. You see, Canada has a whole bunch of different immigration programs, and the absolute most important first step is finding the one that's a perfect match for your background and your skills. All right, let's take a look at the main options here. You've got things like the Provincial Nominee programs, we call them PNPs, and that's where a specific province says, hey, we want you. Then there's family sponsorship, which is great if you have family already in Canada. But for most skilled workers, all roads kind of lead to express entry. It's the big federal system, and it's usually the fastest way to get there. And here's a little pro tip for you. Getting a nomination from a province through a PNP can give you a massive 600-point boost in express entry. I mean, that's practically a golden ticket.
Yep, exactly. Since express entry is pretty much the main engine driving skilled immigration to Canada, that's what we're going to focus on for the rest of this guide. It handles all the big programs you've probably heard of, like Federal Skilled Worker and Canadian Experience Class. Plus, like we just talked about, it links up with the provinces too. So if you can get your head around express entry, you've basically cracked the code for the whole system.
Okay, so you've got your target, express entry. Now it's time to get your ducks in a row and actually prepare your profile. Honestly, you should think of this part like packing for a huge expedition. Getting everything ready before you start is absolutely everything. It'll save you so much headache later on.
So, what are they looking for? Well, the Canadian government wants to get a good picture of who you are. They're going to look at things like your age, your education level, and of course, your language skills. You'll have to prove those with an official test, like the IELTS. They'll also look at your work experience and even ask you to show that you have enough money to get started in Canada. Every single one of these things adds up to create your final score.
All right, this is where the rubber meets the road. Step 1. You gather up all those key documents we just talked about. Your language tests, your education assessment, all that stuff. Step 2, you hop online to the official Canadian immigration website, that's IRCC, and create your account. And then, step 3, you fill out your profile with all your information, take a deep breath, and hit submit. Boom. Just like that, you're officially in the express entry pool with other candidates from around the world. Now, once you're in that pool, it's not just a waiting game. You're actually being ranked against everybody else in there. And the system they use is called the Comprehensive Ranking System, or CRS. I can't stress this enough. This is probably the most critical part of the whole process. Your CRS score is everything. It's calculated based on all those factors: age, education, language, and it's what decides if you get an invitation. Oh, and here's a little secret weapon. If you want to boost your score, one of the fastest ways is to retake your language test and aim for a higher score. It can make a huge difference.
And that high score, what does it get you? Well, this is the prize. If your CRS score is high enough to meet the cutoff in one of the government's regular draws from the pool, you get what's called an invitation to apply, or an ITA. Seriously, this is the golden ticket we were talking about. It's the government saying, okay, we like your profile. We're officially inviting you to apply to become a permanent resident. Getting that ITA in your inbox, wow, that is such a huge moment. It's a total game changer. You're no longer just a profile in a pool of candidates, you are now an official applicant. This is when you roll up your sleeves and put together your full, formal application to make your Canadian dream a reality.
But here's the thing. As soon as you get that invitation, a countdown begins. You've got to gather and upload all your supporting documents. We're talking about everything from work reference letters to police clearance certificates and the results of your medical exam. Then you fill out the last bits of the application, pay all the fees, and get the whole package submitted online.
And when I say the clock is ticking, I mean it. They give you exactly 60 days. That's it. No extensions, no excuses. So here's maybe the best piece of advice I can give you. Start getting those tricky documents ready way before you even get an ITA. Things like police certificates can take forever. Being prepared is the only way you're going to hit that tight deadline without panicking.
Okay, let's talk money for a second, because you definitely need to budget for this. You've got the main processing fee for your application,
Then there's something called the right of permanent residence fee, and a smaller one for biometrics. That's your fingerprints and photo. And one really important thing to keep in mind is that these fees are per person. So if you're bringing your family along, the total cost is going to be quite a bit higher.
Phew. Okay, you've submitted your application. You've done all the hard work. Now, you're in the home stretch. This is the part where you just have to wait while the immigration officers go through every detail of your file. It's a bit nerve-wracking for sure, but this is when they decide whether to give you that final green light.
So the big question is, how long do you have to wait? Well, for most Express Entry applications, the government aims to process them in about 6 months. Now, could it be faster? Yep. Could it take a little longer? Sure. But that 6-month mark is a really good general timeline to have in your head.
Then, after all those months of waiting and checking your email a million times a day, it happens. You get the email, the one you've been hoping for. When your application is approved, the government sends you 2 incredibly important documents that are your official welcome package to Canada.
The first thing you'll get is your confirmation of permanent residence, or what everyone calls the COPR. This piece of paper is exactly what it sounds like. It's the official, legally binding proof that you have been approved. You need to guard this thing with your life. Seriously, it's like gold, because you absolutely need it for the very last step.
So, just to be clear, you get that COPR document, and if you're from a country where you need a visa to even visit Canada, they'll also put a brand new permanent resident visa right inside your passport. These 2 things together, they're literally your keys to your new life in Canada.
But wait, you're not quite a permanent resident yet. There's one last really exciting step. You have to actually travel to Canada before your visa and your medical results expire. So you book your flight, you land at the airport, and you go up to a border officer. You hand them your passport and that precious COPR document, and right there, on the spot, they will officially land you. And at that exact moment, your permanent resident status is activated. Congratulations and welcome to Canada.
And there you have it. That's the whole journey, from that initial dream all the way to becoming a reality. We've mapped out the entire path for you, from picking the right program to that amazing moment you land in your new home. So really, there's only one question left to ask. What's your first step going to be?